See this corset pattern, it is very easy to draft. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to draft a curvy corset pattern. Let's get into it. So this is my front pattern, and that is my bust line, my nipple line, my under bust line, my waistline, and my blouse length. So from the top to the bottom is 24 inches. So from the middle, I mark 0.6 inch. Some people do half an inch, but for today I'm marking with 0.6 inch, and I connected on my markings with a straight line. So after connecting my markings with a straight line, from the middle I took my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, and that gave me 4. Okay, so you will mark your own. After doing this, I connected my markings together and I extended that line by 1 inch. You want to make sure you extend that line by 1 inch above your bust point. I want to make sure that point at the top as well, the width is about 1 inch. You will need this for your cup curve and everything in between. Okay, so now after doing this, the next thing I went ahead to do, I was just straightening out my lines here. Okay, so now the next thing I went ahead to do is at my under bust point, I took not half an inch, I took 1 inch on both sides. I don't know why I'm missing my lines, you guys. I took 1 inch on both sides at my under bust point and also at the hem of the blouse. Now I connected my under bust point to the hem of the blouse with a straight line. Okay, so after doing this, I connected my nipple point to my under bust point, and this thing looks like a triangular line, but you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so I did this for both sides. You guys, if you want to enjoy sewing, get all your pattern rulers. It will make life easier for you. Okay, so after doing this, this is what we have here. We have successfully drafted the down part of a bustier. Now at the top, I took half an inch on both sides. Okay, I took half an inch on both sides and I just connected it to my nipple point. If you don't understand what I'm saying, just look at what I'm doing. Okay, so I connected it to my nipple point. After doing this, the next thing I went ahead to do is at that point I came down by half an inch. Okay, you need this so that your cup would form or will look good when you shape it out. Okay, so I came down by half an inch and I just connected my top to that middle. Okay, you can see what I did there. I connected the top to that middle, and this is what we have here. Very simple, very straightforward. The top part of the cup is coming together. Now I connected my under bust point to my nipple point. Okay, with my ruler. This is what I did here. You can see how beautiful it looks. If you don't have this amble ruler, you can use your French curve. Okay, now from the middle I took my bust measurement. I marked my bust measurement. That's my bust measurement divided by 4 is what I marked there, and I just drew a straight line. It came down a little bit. Okay, so at that point I came down by half an inch. You want to step it down by half an inch so that your side will not just be rubbing over your armpit and it will be irritating you. Okay, so from that my bust point, I came in by 1 inch again. Okay, so I came in by 1 inch again, and I was supposed to extend that half an inch mark. So this is what I did here again. Okay, so I came in by 1 inch because I need to mark out where my cup is going to start from. Okay, so after coming in by 1 inch, I just connected that point to my under bust point to finalize the perimeter of my cup. Okay. Okay guys, so this is what we have going on here. So after doing this, I also connected the top to that point. Okay, you can see it's very simple, it's very straightforward, not difficult. Okay, now from that point I came down by 2 inches on all sides. Okay, within my cup. Now for the middle of this cup side, for that point you can come down till you get to your nipple point, or you can come down by 2.5 inches, but me, I came down by 2 inches. But for the next tutorial, I'll come down till I get to my nipple point. Okay, okay, so I came down by 2 inches on all sides within the cup, and I connected my markings together. And guys, this is what we have here for the cup. Okay, so this is what we have here for the cup. Very simple, very straightforward. Guys, I'm doing this voiceover for like the 3rd time because some people just decided to be hitting, is it drum or what? I don't even know. Now the distance between those 2 points, I added it back to my bust so that my pattern will be accurate. Then at my under bust point, I marked my circumference of my under bust divided by 4. I marked it. You see the distance between those 2 points. I added it back to the pattern so that the pattern will be accurate, because you guys know that we are going to cut that piece out. Okay, so I did same thing for my waist, which is also my half blouse. I added the measurement back. Okay, then at the hem I marked my hips. Okay, at the hem I marked my hips. After marking my hips, the distance between those 2 points, I added it back to the pattern so everything will be accurate. So this is what we have going on here, guys. So after doing this, I connected all my markings together, my bust, my under bust, my half blouse, and my hem, and we have a very beautiful curvy corset going on here. You can see it is not difficult to draft. You just have to understand the technicalities, if I say so myself. Okay, now after doing this, the next thing I went ahead to do was to add 1-inch seam allowance on all sides, so that, you know, in case of mistake, you also need seam allowance as well. Okay, so this is what we have going on here. Very beautiful, very straightforward. I went ahead to highlight it with my marker so you guys will see it very, very, very well. So now the next thing I went ahead to do was to tag my cups. This is very important. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I also drew arrows in the direction of where they're supposed to go. I also tag my front pieces: center front, center back, number 1, number 2. Okay, so after doing this, I just went ahead to cut out my pattern pieces, and this is what we have here. Now if you look at the picture on the thumbnail, you see that we have just 2 pieces, or 2 pieces for the front and for the cup of this corset. So what I just did was I grabbed extra scrap fabric and I used my gum and I placed them on each other like this. You're going to let it sit, let it dry. I also did this for the bottom piece. I used my gum. Some people use sellotape, but gum works better for me. Okay, I used my gum. I placed it on extra pattern and paper, smoothed it in, and I let it sit to dry. Okay, so you want to make sure you merge them together. Okay, you guys will see my merging skills. All right, so I merged them as much as I could. I let it sit to dry. Now after it has dried, I cut out the excess that is not part of the pattern. I cut it out and I threw it away. So after cutting it, you see that we still have a little gap. Now you're just going to fold it in so that we have our normal pattern back. Okay, now you can see that we've merged the piece of the front part 1 and 2 together. So now we're going to do same thing for the 3 and 4. So I just went ahead to cut out the extra pieces that I didn't need. Then I just folded it in. Okay, I folded it in so that the lines will merge. Okay, so after folding it in and the line merge, this is what we have here. Now this is why you have to come back for the sewing tutorial, so you see how I'm going to cut this very curvy part of the cup. Okay, so this is what we have here. You can see we now have just 2 pieces for the cup part of this corset. Okay, now this is what it looks like. Very simple, very straightforward, easy peasy. Now for this corset, you can put boning wherever you want. Okay, so from that point I just marked 1.5 inch. I marked 1.5 inch. I marked 1.5 inch. Some places I marked 1 inches, just as the spirit leads. If you want to do if you even want to do it half inches distance, no problem. But me, I did 1 inch. Then later I went ahead to do 1.5 inch. Okay, so you're just going to mark wherever you want your bone casing to be, and you're going to put your lines there. Okay, so I also did the same thing. So at this point I marked 1.5 inch. I also marked 1.5 inch there, and at the top, at the bottom, I marked 1.5 inch as well. At the top I marked 1/2 inch. Okay, you can do this after you've joined the corset. I'm just showing you guys so that you know what it looks like when you want to do it on your own fabric. Okay, most people do it on their fabrics. So at that top there I marked 1/2 inch. Okay, and I just connected everything together. Most people do this on their fabric, but I'm showing you guys so that you will know what you will do when you get your fabric. Okay, so after doing this, I just highlighted it with my marker so that you people will see. Before you come to the comment section and say, Ada, I'm not seeing what you're doing, open your eyes. Oh yeah, I've highlighted it for you. Okay, so this is what the front piece look like. Now to the back piece. Okay, Now for the back piece, my baby has come. You people will hear noise. So for the back piece, I have my bust point, my under bust point, my waistline, and the hem. I marked my zip allowance at 1 inch, and I connected my markings together. Remember that for the front part, we stepped our side down by half an inch. So for the back, the bust point is going to start at 8.5 inches, no longer 8 inches. Okay, so from the middle, I took my dart point as 4 inches. Okay, and I connected my markings together. After doing this, at the top, I marked 0.5 cm. 0.5 cm at the top. Oh, open your ear. And at the bottom, I marked this 0.5 cm is half a cm. Okay, and at the bottom, I marked half an inch. Okay, at the top, half a cm on both sides. At the bottom, half an inch on both sides. So after doing this, I connected my markings together. Then I went ahead to mark my bust, circumference of my bust divided by 4. The distance between those 2 points, I added it back. I marked my waistline, the distance between those 2 points, I added it back. Then I marked my hips, the distance between those 2 points, I added it back as well. Okay, so after marking all my measurements, the next thing I went ahead to do was to connect my bust point to my waistline and my waistline to the hem of my blouse. Okay, for the back, I skipped marking my under bust measurement because it's going to distort how the back part is going to look. Okay, so the next thing I went ahead to do was to mark 1 inch, was to add 1 inch sewing allowance, seam allowance to the pattern. And this is what we have here, guys, for the back pattern. I went ahead to tag it number 1, number 2, center back, and side back. Okay, you want to make sure you do this so you don't get confused. Don't go and swap the front pattern for the back pattern. Now I'm supposed to curve the sides of this pattern. That's for the front and for the back. I forgot, but I'm going to show you at the end of this video. Okay, so now this is what the back pattern looks like. This is what the front and the back pattern looks like. Very simple, very straightforward, no plaiting. Now time to curve the pattern. Okay, so I need just the sides, that's the front and the back, the sides. So from that point, I went up by 1 inch. You want to make sure that it's same measurement along your seam and the main piece. That's your seam allowance. Then I just went ahead to curve the middle into the side. So I have like this high-low effect going on. So this is what I did for the front. I also went ahead to do same thing for the back. Here I was looking for my scissors, guys. I was looking for my scissors. I don't know where it went to. I did same thing for the back. I went up by 1 inch. You want to keep the line straight from your allowance to the main pattern piece. Then from the main pattern piece, you're just going to curve it into the main pattern body. Okay, so this is what I did here. So after doing this, this is the front and this is the back. Then the next thing I went ahead to do was to cut it out and give it that curvy shape along the side of the corset. Okay, now guys, if you want to do lacing for this corset, you see that zip allowance, you're just going to skip it. Okay, but me in my corset, I always put zip because I don't have strength to be lacing my corset. Okay, so this is what the front part and the back part before I bite my tongue looks like. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching from Facebook, make sure you follow my page, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.